You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
It is Thursday, September 5th.
It is.
It's Thursday. As much as I thought today was Friday yesterday.
I know. I've been ahead
it's Thursday.
A day this whole week, which is weird. That always happens when we don't have work on Monday, though.
I feel like I should go back to school so I'd know what day it is, because the kids in school have a much better picture. The teachers do.
I was watching videos of school kids last night, like in sensory hallways. And, cool stuff. That's a different story.
Yesterday was a great day too. Our son Oscar is loving kindergarten, and it was the first time that he got to celebrate his birthday with his friends at school. So that was good as well. Well, we have two really neat things on deck today. Excited to share Lutheran North Middle School, new middle school in our community. Excited to share that with our listeners today. And every once in a while we get some neat poetry, so we get to talk with a poet.
Every once in a while.
We haven't had a poet on. We used to have Michelle on every once in a while. We haven't talked to Michelle in a while. We need to have Michelle back, too. So, Michelle, if you're listening, drop us a line. We need to hear if you have a new book and need to share that as well. Have another poet, Tanner Olson, joining us in the second segment. Excited to share some of his poetry with you today as well. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us in studio this morning, Dr. Tim Brackman, principal of Lutheran North High School and Lutheran North Middle School as well. Dr. Brackman, thanks for joining us in studio this morning.
Yeah, good to be here. Good morning.
Congratulations on a new school year and a growing school as well. Lutheran High School North doing well, and now adding Lutheran Middle School as well. Tell us about the community, the Lutheran North community, the neighborhood and the community, and paint a picture for us.
Sure. Yes, if you're from St. Louis area, you might be very familiar with Lutheran High School North, as we called it over the years. Now we're starting to say Lutheran North or Lutheran North Middle and High School because of the changes, and that's kind of a hard habit to break, but a positive thing. We're excited about it. So we're located up in unincorporated North St. Louis County. If you're familiar with the airport or UMSL's campus, Emerson, Express Scripts, I mean, those are all buildings and businesses that are right next to us. So our high school is in the 230 range in terms of number of students, and now we have approximately 60 new middle schoolers as well. So pushing 300 students again, which is fun. The community over the years has changed. There was a time, like most Lutheran high schools, I'll say, where the majority of the students way back in the day came from Lutheran churches, Lutheran schools, and it was, almost 100% kind of an extension of the Lutheran congregations. Over the last 30, 40 years, maybe even longer, that has morphed into still an extension of our Lutheran churches and schools, but also a direct extension right into the community around us. And so I think we are unique compared to maybe some areas of the country where our school is every bit a Lutheran high school and every bit a Christian high school, and in many ways a community high school as well.
Well, there's such a legacy of Lutheran education too, having a really high standard and really being a place for parents, for families who want to send their kids to a Lutheran school because of that legacy and the knowledge that education is going to be very high caliber.
Sure, Sarah. Yeah, I agree. And I say often to people, I think there are a lot of things the Lutheran Church does right, but schools is one of them. A lot of church denominations do a lot of things well, but I don't know that anyone does schooling and education better than the Lutherans. So, I would agree fully.
Not that we're biased at all.
No, not at all.
How has Lutheran North been a beacon of that Christian identity and witnessing to the community around it over the years that it's been there? Sure.
And in terms of those years, by the way, we're pushing 55 years on our current site. Wow. So we talk about embracing tradition, but also embracing change and modernism at the same time. So that's kind of neat. But I think if you're in and around our community, when you hear Lutheran North, you think Christ-centered, our parents and members of our community think about great education, as you mentioned, and also just the community itself. I mean, we're a diverse student body that's made up of various different racial and ethnic groups. Socioeconomically, we're very, very wide from, kind of lower income to very high income families. And I say, too, to people all the time, it's a Lutheran Christian school, and we do certain things in the Lutheran tradition the way that we always have, but it's also a community of Christian believers. You don't have to be Lutheran to come to Lutheran North or to our Lutheran schools.
So Lutheran North has been a part of the community for, you said, 55 years now? Is that right?
Yeah, so the really quick history lesson is there was an original Lutheran high school started in the 1940s, and it was located down near Forest Park, Lake and Waterman. And then Lutheran High School South was started in the late 50s, our sister school. And then the building we're currently in was built in the 1960s. So our association is pushing 75 years in St. Louis ministry of schools, but Lutheran North, almost 55 years.
Outstanding. And so Lutheran North has a reputation as highly regarded in the community as a valuable Christian school, Lutheran school, right in the neighborhood. How will now Lutheran Middle School be a part of the community and meet some of the needs of the community as well, with the addition of grades 6, 7, and 8?
6th, 7th, and 8th, right. Well, we think that there's a great opportunity to leverage what we already have in place in terms of a reputation and program from the high school side, and yet we need to modify that to be appropriate for middle schoolers. And you can't, just duplicate everything, of course, because they're very different people at that age. But one of the things that we continually heard, and so we spent an entire, really, a year of background work. Last year was a little more visible. A couple years before that, studying, researching, building what could this thing look like if and when we get it started, which now we have. And we continually heard stories about families from our area who maybe were dissatisfied with the public school education nearby, or the elementary, the K-5 school was okay, was satisfactory, but the middle or the high school was not desirable for those families. And so they're looking for options and finding options, but oftentimes driving away from our area to other parts of the city to schools that offered a K-12, a 6-12, a 7-12 environment. And so we really believe now that we're meeting the need of those families right in their backyard and able to provide a really unique educational opportunity and ministry to them in alignment with our high school.
It's just so cool. How will the middle school and high school kids interact during the day? What does that dynamic look like?
Yeah, great question. So we've been pretty intentional. I like to say it this way: high school needs to be high school, and middle school needs to be middle school. And so we have been very intentional about some overlap intentionally and some disconnect, intentionally. So, for example, the high school day starts at 8 and goes till 3. The middle schoolers start at 8:15 and go till 3:15. So we got a little different entry time if parents desire that. But we also have a number of families who have a middle schooler and a high schooler, and so they're dropping off one time at one location, which is a nice convenience as well. We have daily chapel at Lutheran North, 4 days a week, collectively in the gym in more of a worship service setting, and 1 day a week is more of a devotional setting in classrooms. And so at first we thought, well, maybe some days we'll worship together and other days separately between middle and high schoolers, but we found that so powerful that they worship with us every day. So that's an area where we're always connected. Lunchtime is always separate. Didn't want to tread on the high schoolers' time or intimidate the middle schoolers if they felt like they would be. Although, the really neat thing has been that our community has grown together really well already in just a couple of weeks. And I think the high schoolers have done a nice job welcoming the middle schoolers, and they feel like they fit in. And it's fun for them to be part of something a little bigger than just a middle school, a middle and a high school. So that's been cool for them.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine as a middle schooler being stuck in a high school lunchroom. That like brings me anxiety. But anyway, not about me. What you mentioned a few of these, but what are some of the benefits of having a wider age range altogether? Some mentorship or just the being the body of Christ in a larger setting with a larger age range.
Right. No, absolutely. Opportunities for tutoring. Maybe high school students can come in and tutor middle school students or mentor them, as you said. On the flip side, we've got a functional high school, so there is a music room with music instruments already there. You've got a chemistry lab upstairs that's in use by high schoolers a good part of the day, but there are times where your middle schoolers can take advantage of a biology lab or a chemistry lab or some of those opportunities. A really exceptional student could probably take high school algebra or geometry or be in the band more quickly than they would have been able to had that not been done there. We've got high school teachers who are experts. So our art teacher who teaches all the high school courses is also interacting with the middle schoolers. So they get experience and expertise from our outstanding high school faculty as well. That said, we've hired we've got a dedicated middle school faculty. There's a 6th grade, a 7th grade, and an 8th grade teacher, and those teachers are departmentalizing as well. But we can work up and down appropriately. So there's some really great advantages. Yeah. Not to mention, as I said, just the proximity and the ability to drop off and pick up right in one spot.
Outstanding. Off to a great new school year with middle school students at Lutheran North with just about a half a minute left. Upcoming events or other news about Lutheran North coming up?
One of the cool things I would mention quickly is one of the huge events we just had was, you asked about community. We had a big football game against Trinity Catholic, and it was really fun to see not only the communities coming together in a safe environment, but the two teams praying together after the game, where we've had some negative publicity about high school football games lately. So that's pretty neat. We have a high school mixer coming up, so we're dedicating again. There are high school dance. We had a high school back to school dance, a middle school mixer coming up Friday. So we're doing again some events together and some separately. And homecoming right around the corner, only a month away.
Wow.
We're into it.
Yeah.
Dr. Tim Brackman, principal of Lutheran North, both middle school and high school. Thanks so much for being our guest this morning on the Coffee Hour. And we can find out more about Lutheran North Middle School and High School online.
Absolutely, yes. Lutheran North, lncrusaders.org.
Very good.
Is the web address.
lncrusaders.org. Thanks so much, Dr. Brackman, for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
It's always great to be here. Thanks, guys.
Coming up in just a little bit, some poetry right here on the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.